Greetings and welcome back to our objective analysis of Sadhguru and his philosophy and teachings. It's nothing but Jnana Yoga or Atma Jnana, leading, which is nothing but self realization as divine, Tattvamasi, identifying self with everything else. Because what is seen is illusion and what is real is ultimate Brahman. We dealt a lot of issues with this, including factual errors, logical fallacies, epistemological anarchism and errors, which is, of course, the error, methodological errors, and, of course, cognitive biases which make this system of philosophy work. And in this third part, we'll look into the contradictions. So now again we are going to use the objective test for truth. We are continuing it, and this is the final two steps. So now we are going to look into the test of coherence and the test of correspondence. So the test of coherence is about looking for internal contradictions, and the test of correspondence is about external contradictions. Coherence means the ideas do not contradict each other. So contradict each other or do not say things which refute each other. Okay, and Advaita Vedanta has a lot of internal contradictions, apart from his great weakness, which is its claim that reality itself is illusory, as is seen, the concept of Maya and all those things. So now we'll look into internal contradictions. For any philosophy to be robust, it must pass the test of coherence. Its central tenets should be logically consistent with each other. Internal contradictions weaken the philosophy and it self-destructs. Internal contradiction is a sign or is the evidence of a self-destructive philosophical system. In Sadhguru's teaching, several internal contradictions arise, often because of fusion of ancient spiritual beliefs with modern concepts. And this attempted fusion, there is a problem. And we are going to look into this problem or a set of problems called internal contradictions. The first one is Sadhguru teaches that all self-realization offers access to universal truth, suggesting that introspection provides insight into the cosmos, the very fabric of reality. At the same time, he emphasizes that spirituality is a personal journey, inherently subjective. So there's broadening of the scope of epistemology, of knowledge, from knowledge of self into the whole of reality and metaphysics is the internal contradiction of this system. If self-realization is subjective, then the insight it produces should also be subjective. It should not be made into an objective metaphysical system. Claiming that subjective experience can reveal objective universal realities is a non sequitur and creates a fundamental contradiction. Either self-realization is universally applicable, which contradicts its subjective nature, or it remains personal, which limits its scope to individual truth rather than universal knowledge. It does not provide any form of knowledge about reality except your state of mind or a psychological state. Next, karma as cosmic justice versus free will in spiritual growth. The notion of karma as a strict deterministic law conflicts with the idea of free will. If one's circumstances are rigidly dictated by karma, then free will would be limited or irrelevant, especially in the person making the decision and being responsible for generating karma, or even an attempt towards self-realization. So these are also programmed, then determined, and not due to the personal choice of the individual, and therefore he cannot be held responsible, and therefore you cannot assign karma points to him because free will is not involved. He is not responsible if he is already programmed by karma. Alternatively, if the individuals have free will to alter their karma, then karma cannot be absolute deterministic system. Okay, then karma is not strong enough to give you another rebirth. In other words, karma is not the problem. This contradiction creates ambiguity around personal agency in spiritual growth, along with the concept of Maya. As you can see, the concept of Maya will create another contradiction along with the whole distinction, because there is a distinction here, and distinction is Maya. Bad and good karma, again Maya. So that is a very great internal contradiction of this system. And that is the third contradiction added to the second one, which is free will and agency. Or free will, which is agency and determinism. The fourth one is science as validation of spiritual beliefs versus science, which is study of just nature. Sadhguru uses scientific terms and concepts like quantum mechanics, entanglement, non-locality to validate spiritual beliefs, implying that science supports his teachings. However, he also claims that science is limited and incapable of fully understanding spiritual truths. So this can be called as some form of using science for opportunity or opportunism. This is just opportunism, and science is being used in an opportunistic way. So this creates a double standard where science is selectively credible, or whenever it looks like it will support, it is being adopted, and whenever it looks like it's going to refute their philosophy, it is being limited. In other words, this is the internal contradiction, an inconsistency, which shows that there is no scientific base. Science cannot be used to refute this, to validate their philosophy or spiritual teachings. This is just cherry picking, confirmation bias, and that creates a contradiction, internal contradiction in the wrong use of science for both proving as well as telling it. Whenever it doesn't support their philosophy, it is rejected, and it is described as some a way of knowledge with limited scope. Next, universal consciousness versus individual responsibility for spiritual growth. Sadhguru teaches that consciousness is universal, connecting all beings into a single awareness. Tattvamasi, you are that. However, he also emphasizes personal responsibility in spiritual growth and self realization. If consciousness is truly universal, then individual self effort and responsibility become less relevant, as personal achievements would be part of a shared collective consciousness rather than individual accomplishment. This contradiction creates ambiguity about whether spiritual growth is a personal journey or an aspect of universal interconnectedness. And what about karma? Is it also because of personal responsibility, or is it because of universal interconnectedness? That's a contradiction, definitely. Next, intuition as infallible was the importance of learning and discipline. Sadhguru often emphasizes intuition as a direct, reliable source of spiritual knowledge, suggesting that one's inner voice is a trustworthy guide. But he also emphasizes learning, discipline, and structured practices as essential to spiritual growth. So, if intuition is infallible guide, then the need for disciplined practices and structured learning becomes redundant. Because this whole philosophy is based on intuition. The experience a person has in his head is reflective of, is defined as self-realization or of Tattvamasi. Okay, so that is intuition based. There is no logic, there is no way to know it. It's just intuition. And therefore, it is important to make sure that this contradiction is well understood. If intuition is the criteria, then the other ways of jnana yoga are redundant, and he need not stress those things, and he should be stressing only on intuition, because it is the intuitive philosophy, not one based on true knowledge. Next, we come to detachment from ego with emphasis on personal empowerment. Sadhguru advocates for detachment from the ego as a core part of spiritual growth. Yet he also promotes personal empowerment and fulfillment. So this is a clear contradiction, and because of that, again, it weakens the philosophy, and by the time we finish, it will collapse. Inner engineering is a technology, whereas the inner engineering is a spiritual path. Sadhguru describes inner engineering both as a technology, a personal transformation, and as a deeply spiritual journey requiring personal insight. A technology implies what is the definition of technology? It implies systematic, replicable process with predictable outcomes, while a spiritual path is inherently personal, subjective, and it can go into anything. Nobody knows what all it may entail. By presenting inner engineering as both, Sadhguru creates an internal contradiction between the precision of technology and the variability of spiritual experience, leaving followers in the contradiction where they are attracted to the inner engineering, but they also have to believe that it is a journey, as a spiritual journey, as opposed to a technology. I should understand that this is semantics and labeling things in an attractive way, branding, you know, products, the product which is developing, there's a business side to it, to make it look attractive to this generation. It's the same old philosophy. Thou art the Tattvamasi. Karma accumulation versus universal interconnectedness. That's a very clear contradiction. So, Sadhguru teaches that each person accumulates individual karma based on personal actions. However, he also teaches about universal connectedness, suggesting that all beings are interlinked in a single consciousness. Now arises the question of personal responsibility in the case of interconnectedness, and how does it occur? Karma points occur to the person if he is interconnected. So this is the clear logical inconsistency in that philosophy, and this contradiction adds to the weakness. It's almost going to break down. Sadhguru uses objective scientific terms and theories like energy, quantum physics to support mystical and spiritual ideas, suggesting that science can explain spirituality. At the same time, he describes mysticism as beyond the reach of science. So this creates internal contradictions where it's just opportunism. you know. So this contradiction is because he is embarking on opportunism, okay, and using science for his mystical project, okay, and creating a double standard and contradiction, but that is what provides him the opportunity to attract people, and this internal contradiction further weakens his position, because all the science he claims, does not provide support for his mysticism or cosmic consciousness or anything like that. These are not scientific. Karma as past life influence versus the need for present moment awareness. Sadhguru teachings on karma emphasize that past actions, even from previous lifetime, shapes one current reality. However, he also encourages followers to focus on the present moment and let go of the past. So this is a clear contradiction, because you cannot let go of the past, because the past is determining the present in his philosophy. Therefore, this is the contradiction. Okay, you cannot do both. Of course, what they cannot do is they cannot let go of the past, because that is the problem. They accumulated the karma and now they are resolving it through self-realization and accumulating karma points. So this philosophy is collapsed now with 11 internal contradictions. 11. And now we are going to look at external contradictions, which is a greater weakness for this philosophy, because it claims the perceived reality as illusion, and something which is unseen as ultimate reality based on intuition. So external contradictions, number one, Sadhguru frequently uses concepts from quantum mechanics to support ideas of universal consciousness. About universal consciousness, implying quantum physics validates spiritual interconnectedness. Quantum mechanics operates at subatomic level and describes phenomena within particles, not human consciousness. There is no empirical basis to extend quantum principle to explain consciousness or interconnectedness on a human or cosmic level. These things have to be proved. The most Sadhguru can do is use it as an example to explain his idea. He cannot use it as a proof for his philosophy. This misinterpretation diverges from accepted scientific understandings and demonstrates a lack of correspondence between his claims and scientific reality. Okay, so that does not exist. Therefore, it contradicts. Number two, Sadhguru's teachings on reincarnation and karma assume that individuals carry over experiences and consequences from past lives which shape their current circumstances and destiny. While reincarnation is a common belief in many spiritual traditions, it is a religious belief. It is not a scientific belief, nor is it obvious, nor can karma be quantified so that we can expect, I have 3 karma points left to be paid, so I can do these good works and do with it. I will gain 5 good karma points and cancel away and I will even obtain self-realization through that karma yoga. But there is no verifiable mechanism through which personality, memories, or karmic debt transfers from one life to another. You should know it is not the same person with the same genes or even the same name. That is one reason why Buddhists have, after learning about this state of affairs, rejected that it is the soul which is reincarnated. It is a collection of some consciousness and memories and desires, and it goes like that. Even in Buddhism, and both are not scientific nor rational. They are religious beliefs based on Upanishads and Bhagavad Gita, okay, in which it is put in the mouth of Krishna, who is advising, of course, Arjuna and all those things. That is how this teaching has been sustained into these mythical mixing with the theoretical and all those things. But it is neither scientific nor is it obvious thing. Okay, on top of that, that is also an illusion. So next, chakras and energy centers in human physiology, which directly contradicts scientific knowledge. We have very advanced science, scans, tests, and we can, examine all those places where they claim there are chakras. We can say very clearly there is nothing like chakras there. Okay, and therefore the concepts of chakra and energy centers contradicts external reality, or these are also religious truths, not scientific truths, not facts, religious ideas. Prana and biological functioning. So pranayama is a very important breath holding technique used by the yogis, and it is not based on, you control your breath and heart rate goes down, breathe in more oxygen, and that is the life force, like Yogananda said. All those things are not the case. The case is that prana as a vital life force does not exist. There is nothing called prana, and it cannot be controlled by breathing. Okay, this is also a religious idea of Hinduism, is not a scientific idea, and biological processes are understood to be driven by biochemical reactions, cellular functions, and physical energy transfer. The ATP molecule and the breakdown of the bonds, phosphodiesterase bonds, which releases the energy. There is no scientific basis for prana as a distinct life-sustaining force. There's nothing like that in literature, or nothing compared to what they are describing in the Hindu religious collection of ideas. And this divergence from biological principles indicates a lack of correspondence between concepts of prana and scientifically established explanations for life processes. The fifth external contradiction now is going to be the illusory nature of reality itself, which casts a great doubt on the perception, sensory apparatus. Sadhguru often asserts the material world is an illusion, maya, implying that it lacks real substance or importance. While the idea of maya has philosophical value and is again a religious idea, observable reality operates in consistent and predictable manner governed by physical laws. The consistency of natural law, causality, and physical evidence suggests that material reality is objectively real, not illusory. Treating reality as an illusion is the most self-refuting, self-defeating thing about Sadhguru's philosophy. And that is a great external contradiction. And next, we come to meditation and physical healing. Sadhguru claims that meditation and spiritual practices can lead to healing, stress reduction, and even disease prevention. While meditation has been shown to have benefits for mental health, these are not proofs. Okay, you cannot prove all these things. These are correlations, strongly correlated, etc. There is no causation has been established. that meditation can cause mental health benefits. Okay, its impact on physical healing is limited and largely indirect. Here, there is no proof, scientific proof, that meditation can cause physical healing. Okay, claims that meditation directly influences physical health has not been scientifically established. Even if they are recommended, it is not based on scientific proof, but only correlation. Overstating these effects creates an external contradiction because it does not exist. Next, subjective intuition as a source of knowledge. Again, it does not exist. Intuition is not a source of knowledge and it contradicts. It's an external contradiction. Universal consciousness is also not scientifically proved and it does not exist. Therefore, it is an external contradiction. Self-realization as realization of self with other things because of identification of self and everything else with ultimate Brahman is also not an objective truth but an intuition, and it contradicts external reality. Past life karma were genetic and versus genetic and environmental influences. So there is no evidence. Again, this contradicts external reality that whatever happens in your life is because of past life, bad actions which was done by somebody else who does not have your name, did not have your genetics, was not born to the same parents either. Who was it? Anyway, in other words, in any case, there is no past life. It is not something which you can know as you can know any other thing. And it cannot be used as a cause for current circumstances. What it is the religious idea of Hinduism, and Hindus are free to believe whatever they want. There is no doubt about that, but that does not equate it with truth. Even some of them have updated themselves and started considering these things as myths, religious ideas which cannot be verified, cannot know about it except if you happen to think it's true. That's the intuition. I think it's true. I'm convinced it's true. That is the intuition he's talking about. You automatically became convinced. Next, and ancient wisdom as scientific foresight. And the ancient technologies existed, but it does not come near to modern technology, and nor is there any scientific basis for ancient wisdom, nor is it an obvious truth. Spiritual texts like Vedas and Upanishads, Sadhguru claims, contain insights that align with even predate modern scientific discoveries. All those are there, including nuclear fission, fusion, atom bomb, aeroplane, rockets, missiles, Brahma, whatever, that thing, the weapon. So all those things they use they get mixed up, claiming that ancient wisdom as scientific foresight. Already we had all these things. It is not so. It cannot be proved to be so because of the flimsy evidence. You can collect the evidence and make a case, okay, but it cannot be proved. Therefore, this is an external contradiction, and it's again a in-group superstition. Test of correspondence fails here. Inner engineering, a scientific technology, also does not exist. Okay, what he means in engineering is, activating the awakening the Kundalini chakra and allowing it to rise to the level of the crown chakra. And at that state, you will realize your Tattvamasi, as well as realize that you are that. You are one with everything else, as well as you are one. You are the ultimate Brahman. And the ultimate Brahman alone exists. Everything is ultimate Brahman. So therefore, this is also has nothing to do with external reality. These are religious ideas which are not being proved to be true or obvious in any way. They can have it, but they have not proved it. In other words, all these 11 things are religious ideas which either cannot be proved or have not been proved to be true. So therefore, these contradict external reality actively and passively. And therefore, this system of Sadhguru, including Isha Yoga, inner engineering, self-realization, bliss, all these are this whole philosophy of not having a rebirth next time or a lot of times and getting out of the cycle of samsara. Those are religious ideas which are based on texts written by obscure people, by a God whom they don't even believe can communicate because he is a it. Okay, it's ultimate Brahma's impersonal. So these are all made up religious ideas of ancient past which are not being proved. Okay, unproven ideas. That is the problem. And they can exist in the realm of religious ideas. And because of the internal contradictions, they cannot be even claimed to be true. Okay, they cannot even make a claim for truth because the whole system is internally incoherent. It has already collapsed. And now we are also shown the external contradictions. Therefore, Sadhguru's philosophy has been objectively debunked. Now we'll move on to what is it, if it is internal contradiction or even a claim of truth cannot be made because of the internal contradictions. It is already collapsed. And if there is full of external contradictions, what is it? There are only two options left now. One is scam and another is deception, self-deception, that he himself is deceived. And second is he is scamming. Okay. So What I'll propose is that there's a mixture of both. Okay, is deceived and there is a scam element of business side of it, where this deception is propagated. Okay, as science and all this. That's why it's a scam. Okay, if it is in the temple, it is understood as a religious idea held by Brahmins. It's not the problem. It's a Hindu idea. Everyone knows that. Others don't believe it. Brahmins believe it. Even other castes may not believe it. They may not have the karma points to rise to the level of obtaining that knowledge. And so on and so forth, and all those make believe things. So, what we can say definitely is that there is a scam aspect to it. So, the risks of pseudoscience and Sadhguru's teaching. So that is why it's a scam. It's a pseudoscience scam, and the spirituality is already pseudo spirituality. In other words, it is in the realm of superstition, out in the temples. Temple religion is superstition and myth mixed. And now they are going to take it to the world through pseudoscience. So that is where it becomes a scam. The blending of pseudoscience, pseudo spirituality, temple teachings, myths, with past lives and present condition, which is necessary to maintain the caste hierarchy through the temple, control system over the surrounding village or town. Okay, where the whole place is segregated. There is agraharam, there is a colony. The agraharam is the priest street. The colony is where the outcast lives. In between, other middle and lower castes live. And the priest caste and the outcast and the lower caste cannot mix. It's pollution based on karma, past life karma. And that is the kind of scam they are trying to now export as science. Nonsense is called Brahmanical anarchy. Next, as we already proved through the external contradiction, all these things have not been proven to exist. Neither past life, nor the karma of past life causing your present condition, nor ultimate Brahman, nor self-realization. None of it exists. These are non-existent things in the realm of ideas which are accepted by Brahmins. And that is why it's a scam. When it is exported, when it is branded and marketed as science, technology, engineering, medicine, healing, world peace, and whatnot. What nonsense is this? It is illegal, even by the laws of this nation. If you give that explanation that the outcast is so, and will be treated like that, if you carry on this philosophy to its logical conclusion and involve in untouchability because of the pollution of the sins of the previous birth, you will be arrested. You will file a case. It is already illegal in this land. If you take these philosophies to its logical conclusion and practice it, as it was being practiced for thousands of years. It's been made illegal. And this is the kind of thing they are exporting. And that is why it is a very wholesome scam, well packaged for Western sensibilities and promoted through mass marketing and other media techniques. So you need to be careful and exercise spiritual discernment that this temple stuff, religious idea, is already causing a lot of problem for people in this land. All this poison doesn't get exported, doesn't get accepted, but gets known for what it is. Total nonsense. Philosophically called absurd. Thank you for joining. God bless you. Jesus loves you.